Good morning, everyone. Welcome to
Good
FYI.
morning.
For your information, I'm Dread
Bam!
alongside Sharon Duncan. It is Monday, the 20th of
It
June,
is.
2022,
So
and
it
we
is.
are
So it
here
is.
with you. And we know that you miss
So it
us.
is. Yeah.
We have been receiving tons of
Yeah.
messages from everyone that wants to know what is going on
Yeah.
and all of that. Well, we are fully recharged and up and
Fired
about,
up.
good to go again.
That little bam take off my energy. Morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes.
Good to be here. Good to be with you guys.
As I've been noting the comments in the comment section before.
What have they been
came
saying?
on,
What have they been saying?
Look, it's a person are wondering if we were taken offline and all of that, guys. We have
No. We out here, people.
Yeah, it's
we
a
out here.
late day. It's
Don't
late
come around
day.
with funny.
So
Don't come around with funny.
I
Good.
see Golly God is here this morning. Wendy Ronald, I see Natisha Barker is here also. I see you, Beatrice Selby. Beatrice has been on about questioning. Beatrice said once she doesn't see a notice that we're not coming on, she's here waiting.
Good.
Right?
We're so thankful. We're so thankful.
So
I was
Beatrice
powdering
is
my
here.
nose. Took a little while. Big nose. Took a little while. Big hair too.
That is correct. Once, if for any reason whatsoever we're not going to be on, we will put it to notice.
Yeah.
Always.
Try to be courteous.
Yes, very diligent with that.
We try.
Maureen says that we were missed. You know, Sharon.
Oh,
very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, we felt the love. We felt the love. The couple of days we were off, we felt the love and the support. It means a lot to us.
Yeah. So what have you guys been doing for a couple of
Tell
days?
us. Tell us.
Yesterday was Father's Day.
Yeah. Happy
here.
belatedly. Happy Father's Day belatedly.
I hope the fathers had some introspection and reflection and thankfulness yesterday. I hope you
circumspection.
I hope you ladies actually and everyone out there actually treated the fathers special yesterday.
Yeah.
But I have a complaint to make.
Tell us.
I think the private sector altogether did not do justice to fathers.
Always. It's a forgotten holiday. It is the forgotten holiday.
Serious complaints because I know usually when you go in, like if it's Mother's Day, for example, and you go to the store from beginning to end, there are so many different things available for you to purchase from Mother's Day. Father's Day, literally, they tuck something away, a cup in the corner at the back.
People forget generally.
No, so I have a complaint. Right? We got to do better.
But we're going to make Father's Day great again.
Yes, we have.
We're going to make Father's Day great again. Not the way them boys make sugar great again.
Not like that.
Not the way they made sugar great again. No. We're going to make Father's Day great again.
But sugar is a whole issue, man. Shara, why are you going to tease issue so early? Sugar is an entire issue, but oh goodness, we have to be looking at these things in depth. So Sharon, what has been going on?
Sue!
Tell the people.
Sue! I can't wait to get to Sue. Could we start now? No, we can't start
on Sue as yet. We can't. We have to wait for our viewers to be here.
Oh wow. Wow. Look, Naomi Drucker with your bad self. Say what story here? The live just started and we had 400 viewers already.
Well, we're over 500.
Don't be comfy with viewers. Good.
You see, we have to
Don't be comfy with viewers.
We have to go missing for a couple.
Apparently, absence makes the heart go fonder.
Yes, I'm seeing this. I need to learn these tricks. Yes, I'm seeing you guys in the comment section. I'm seeing Clifton Smith and Francine. I see you, Lynette Jacobs also.
Yeah.
I see Claudette and Colin Roberts, Rosie Rose, Jeff. Guys,
we miss you folks. We miss you folks. We miss you guys. We miss you.
But a lot to comment on. Listen, I think today is going to be such a packed day because we have been off air for 3 days. 3 complete days we've been off air. And you know what happened. You know what happened in those days.
The system got backs up. I need a release.
It's backed up.
So here is the release.
The discussions, I know that we're going to have to force ourselves to the hour today because force ourselves to contain the content to 1 hour because of the amount of things we have to discuss today. But you know what has been going on?
PAC as well.
That's oral. Other than that, I would have stayed.
Other than that,
2 hours.
All 12 o'clock we are here talking. Linda Webster, good to see you. Saif Ali as well and Hazel Johnson.
Hazel Sampson makes our group go wonder. We're in agreement. We need to do this a little more often.
Good to have you guys.
Just deal with Sue, says Ivory.
Just deal with Sue.
Just deal with Sue. We're gonna get to that.
Oh, Sue.
But how do we just deal with Sue when you have the fire service going on one side? In addition to that, we have Indar and that whole back and forth between him and Starbrook News. We have so many other things we must deal with today. So it just can't be just Sue alone today. We have Ali in Region 7 shouting.
Apparently,
down,
we need a Sue every day. We need a Sue every day.
Shouting down at the stand supporter of the PPP.
Yeah,
there's
that too.
The woman actually went, in her PPP flag colored clothing.
They've been having a hard time with the supporters recently. Quite a hard time, including Sue.
That one is not
including
good.
Sue.
Yep.
There's a musical. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a line in this one song from the musical that says, "How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do we solve a problem like Sue?" And the tenant refused to go away.
Listen, I'm gonna say this before.
How do we solve a problem like Sue?
Guys, we're not at Sue yet.
We're not at Sue. All right.
I'm gonna say this as
a precursor.
Exactly.
Introduction. An executive summary.
What was said in that documentary? Guys, we've been saying it every day. This is just a bit of evidence to substantiate what we've been saying daily.
Every day.
You know this. You know why you don't have to be convinced? Because you know it. You know it. It's true.
You all know this story.
So I'll say that for now. But let's just get into some soft news, as I can put it like that.
Anything this morning, soft? Go right ahead.
I can say it like that. Let's get into some soft news this morning. The first thing, as we were in the morning papers, I want to look at the fact that the Public Service Credit Union, guys, big news, big story still going on over here, as I can say, a bit softer as compared to the Sue issue. The Public Service Credit Union members has asked the court to recognize the ousted officials and allow for the 25th of June meeting. And this is a meeting of a general members meeting that they're asking for on June 25th, guys. So this is a lot. This should be Saturday, June 25th, and that's what's being asked for. And this matter right now is before the High Court. As you know, it's over 375 members that moved for the removal of the entire body. And that number has since moved to almost 2,000 persons now, being signatories asking for their removal. So this is something that is not, it has grown to a state now that you must hear these voices. At no point in time, 2,000 of your members could be asking for some. You decided, we don't have time for that.
PPP plan backfires. Yet again, they like these interim management committees. They like takeovers.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yet another plan backfire.
PPP plans backfire.
And we talking with Sue. We talking with Sue yet? Plan backfire.
Very, very interesting pieces.
You know, Drita, a couple of years ago,
let me hear
this
story.
Time, them boys, they planning no confidence motion. All right, we can come to Sue just now.
We can
come. Go right ahead.
We can come just now.
Go right
hold on, Sharon. Hold on. A bit of info. I think it's very interesting and important for me to put out to you guys right now. GBTI isn't giving me any more money, but I'm going to do it nevertheless. It says GBTI launches the Drive Home promotion, guys. Drive Home promotion.
Remember me, GBTI.
Remember us over here.
Remember the I.
Remember the I. And I just want to read it really quickly as we move forward. It says, Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry yesterday launched its Drive Home promotion, through which is offering persons borrowing to either buy or build a house a chance to win a new car. So the campaign is specifically geared for persons who wish to buy or build, persons who maintain mortgages with other banks and wish to switch those mortgages to GBTI, and also persons who have existing mortgages with them. They said GBTI explained that the business development manager, the business development manager actually was explaining that she said that apart from the cars, persons would also be able to obtain discounts from various home furnishing stores, which the bank has partnered with, so that their homes can be fully furnished as well. So persons, they're a bit of info for you, GBTI. You can say thanks later.
Thank us later. Thank us later. Remember us, GBTI. Right? Remember us.
Good. It's a little bit more that I must touch on is the fact that the headline says, it says knife, toy, guns, and among weapons found during the search of students at East Coast schools. It's saying knives and toy guns among weapons found during the search of students at East Coast schools. You know that there have been a lot going on at the school level.
Quite a lot.
And all of that. But I had
Quite a lot.
I had a bit of difficulty myself, and I have to state this at this point in time. I did note the photographs that were put online for the items that were taken from students, and one of which were there were several scissors, and specifically there was a scissors with the name on it, Root. It had a butterfly handle. It was a blunt tip, safety edge, safety blade rather, blunt tip, safety blade scissors with a butterfly handle with the name Root on it. And that was one of the items that they took from a child to say, well, these things should not be in school. And I had an issue with that. And I stated my issue publicly, because my issue was that even at a nursery level, parents are given a list of items to purchase for their children to use in school, and that is what's on the list. Even at the nursery level, every parent in Guyana would know this. So it is crazy for police officers to be going into the school, making your child feel like a criminal for having a scissors that is on a list
that's acceptable
as acceptable within the school. So there's a lot and I understand that the difficulty that there is right now, but it has to be very much more planned and more structured. And I believe that I personally am not in favor of a police officer going through your child's bag. So I think we have to have a little more innovation, but that's definitely not a discussion that we're going to go to in depth today, but I'm not going to rest that.
You know who I want to search the police? Some of these investors, they might find bribe, you might find kickbacks. I want to frisk down, run in some of these meetings and frisk down some of these investors.
Yeah, but these same police that's going to children's bags.
Processing fee, they're going to find consultancy fee without any consulting being done.
Yes. But in addition to that, these same police, and this is why I have an issue. These same police, you would go to the station, you make a complaint about someone robbed, somebody run into the man, so that the police said, there's a drugs yard, but they're going to do a shakedown of the drugs yard.
They're going to do a shakedown.
They're going to do a shakedown in the school. I'll have a lot more to say on that, but guys, like I told you, some big issues for us to deal with today, so we have to manage a little better. Gahu. Guyana Culture's Worker Union.
I see.
Come on.
You're fun fighting with this.
Now listen.
We can dissect this during the week. We can dissect
this during the week, but we're going to touch on it a bit today. We're going to dissect this. It's going to be a packed week. We're going to dissect this one during the week. But a guy who calls on the government to fire Gaisuko CEO. So we have here the head of GAHU, Mr. Narayan, calling basically on the government to fire Sis Narayan Singh. Right? What was most interesting, and we're just going to give you the surface of this right now, is that none other than Irfan Ali called the head of GAHU on stage to actually ask him a few questions.
Like a teacher in a class.
You come up here, you stand here. Has this been happening? No, I don't want an explanation. No, don't go nowhere. Stand
that
here.
Was bizarre.
No, go and sit down.
That was bizarre.
Listen to me. That particular individual, as being the head of GAHU, it says a lot about that company or the same PPP. Note, and I want to make this point right now, the PPP love to say, especially when they're talking about the teachers union. I heard from Priya Manchan herself saying that, the teachers union and they're acting political or all of those things. You have the head for GAHU being a sitting member of parliament for the PPP. He sits in the National Assembly.
And in the classroom from the last engagement with the president too.
In the class. He was in the classroom. I I was noting the actions of the individual at the back of him that was sitting there laughing, just laughing, could not control his laughter because he thinks it's a joke. Right? It just goes to show. And I think it was someone that told me that I should do some check-in and see that at the last internal election for the PP, that man got more votes than Ali. But I'm yet to confirm that. So I do some backup.
Wow. A lot of things
Wait, that one.
But I thought I'll
check that one. It is alleged.
Had that engagement gone on any longer, Ali would have been asking the man to say it's 2 times stable.
Yes. Yes,
bizarre.
It was such mockery and all of that. But again, we must say that all of this leads up to what is going on in the country right now, how it is happening completely.
I just think that Suelle Finlay is failing us because she's responsible for the president's PR. And that bit of PRing there, don't let me do the one again.
Nobody can control.
Right? Sir Irfan? Right, let me keep that for Iflat University.
But there's no one that could have controlled that.
Which teacher calls a student healthy class? No, don't answer. Don't explain. Right?
Don't explain.
I want explanation. Bizarre country, but not as bizarre as Sue. Comment there.
We're gonna get there very, very soon. We're
That
gonna
is
get there.
bizarre too.
Guys, we have to touch on a bit of the international news. I must touch on a bit of international
What's
news.
happening there?
And as we're seeing right about now, it's being reported, and it's coming from, I'm taking this out of Bitcoin news, and I saw a bit of reporting of it even locally here, that Uganda claims exploration survey discovered 31 million metric tons of gold.
Wow.
Right? So
Wow.
Uganda, they're different over there right now, and we want to say that the gold is worth over 12 trillion US dollars. That is a claim that is being made right now there in Uganda. And if that is worth over 12 trillion US dollars, Uganda have a lot to be speaking about this morning. Well, they have been, because I think that was over the last.
They probably got their own Suez there
4
too.
days.
But
if they weren't there, they're going to be heading there now.
We got our own Suez to deal with.
So they're going to be heading there now.
What it is.
No, right now. As on the international front as well, not so bit of good news, but 3 Guyanese died in a New York fire.
Wow,
guys, this is not. We're never happy to have to report on such news, but this is a news that has been reported. 3 Guyanese has died in a New York fire. You see them there. Nanda Bola Prasad, Bonus Lima Prasad, and Devon Prasad.
Wow. Thoughts and prayers with those family.
That is correct.
Thoughts and prayers with those families.
A lot of times persons leave our shores to go and try to make a better life for themselves and all of that, and they do their own bit to try to live under whatever circumstances it is that they're living on in the US. Very, very sad news altogether, and we just give our sympathies to the relatives of these individuals living here in Guyana. Very sad news, and we wish that you will have the strength to go through this process of grief.
And believe it or not, making some of the regional news, the Ghana Fire Service. Interesting. Making regional news.
When we do regional news, it's never.
This country is in free fall. It's every man for himself. A woman in front and a man behind. It's bare badness bacala in this country.
So I have to say this as it is right now. On a normal day, I would have never been speaking about this video because I just left it as it was, as something not to be spoken about. But strange enough, I was combing through the regional news, and there it is, that this bit of reporting, this video, it is being said to be a viral video of the fire service ranks showing, as they reported there on Dancehall magazine, that Skeng is basically running the block in Guyana. And I'm going to try and make an attempt. I'm going to make an attempt to read as what is being reported there in Dancehall magazine.
Dancehall magazine, the Ghana Fire Service making the Dancehall magazine.
No, but I want to also say that Dancehall magazine, one of their initial reporting, and I believe this is why they're going with this bit of news, and they put it over as their news, is because when the announcement was made by none other than Whoops and Ben that he is going to be banning artists like Skeng, that report also came through Dancehall Mag because they cover all of those entertainment news. Nevertheless, so they're picking up on this as this, and it says, and I quote as coming out of it, as the track played, them no run them block. When we pull up, them have to run left that. Did I say it right? Listen, I'm too old for this. This is when I realized that I'm not 16.
Read on.
Another excited officer got up to his feet and mimicked holding a rifle to fire imaginary shots in the air.
Wow. But I understand that these guys were just having some fun.
Yes, and that's why I said on a normal day I would not even be discussing this, because I just left it as because I was made to understand that it was some personal, some
a line was a get together
or some birthday, something or of that nature. But Dancehall Mag saw it a different magnitude because they have reported that the minister actually said that he's going to be banning artists like Skeng, and now that there's this bit, they're basically saying in their reporting that it would seem that some sections of
law enforcement.
Law
basically.
enforcement in our country is actually in support
Yeah.
of
Of
the
scam.
artists, and
Quite
that is why
interesting.
they put it over like that.
Quite interesting.
Right? So
Quite
a
interesting.
bit of
The police force in support of Skeng and the
fire service.
the fire service rather, and the minister with responsibility for that sector
Yes.
banning sin. Interesting,
Yes.
interesting.
So and
Country
they
of
were having
reform.
their own bit of fun there, I
Yeah.
must say. So
Yeah.
you know, but Dancehall Mag is just using the opportunity
Yeah.
to bring that
You
up
you
on the regional front.
you know who might be banned soon and people like them? The other S.
I
You
think that
see, these S's problematic, you know, these S's we gotta deal with problematic. You know, Skeng on one side, and then the other S might be banned soon.
oh
You know.
goodness, guys, we've been waiting so much for this shirt.
Yeah,
I'm
go
trying
ahead,
to hold him back from going into the big issue, but he's gonna.
You know,
he's creeping
the other
there.
S might be
He's
banned
creeping
soon.
there. Be patient. Be patient.
The other might be banned soon.
I have to mention on the local front what's going on right about now. Very serious, very serious bit of reporting coming out there from Chinese landing.
Correct,
we have
correct,
been speaking
correct,
about
correct,
this matter
correct.
for quite some time.
Yep, yep.
And it says that the Chinese landing to show reports increased threats from minors, police.
Yeah.
And this one is
Yeah.
particularly concerning because as it is being alleged here, guys, you would know that the issue even met to the UN when it comes to what is happening there at Chinese landing, and to be for this report to be coming out now that to show, and it says as more minors continue to move into region 1, as more minors continue to move into region 1, indigenous community of Chinese landing to show Oren Finance is reporting increased threats made on his life, while accusing the police of failing to act on them.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
It's saying Finance said that the threats from both minor and the police are not new, but they have been intensifying since United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination flagged the government for not addressing them. This is
quite interesting.
This is a very serious matter, and particularly, you know, the administration. I'm speaking about the PPP administration. They love to go into the indigenous communities and say, "Oh, we care about you, and we're here for you," and all of that. And it's nonsense. And I always say it's nonsense because with the same breath, they go out there and they try to railroad the system, and they try to have their friends and family go in to basically extract every bit of natural resources, even off of the land that the indigenous communities have rights over.
And the very people they don't have any say.
Exactly.
Basically, don't have any say.
They are all good once people don't oppose their actions. Once indigenous communities and the indigenous leaders don't oppose their actions, oh yes, we're going to come, we're going to give you a little handout here and there. We're going to have CSOs in the community and give you a little change every month.
Take a solar light on top of your house and
take those
call me in the morning.
And once the indigenous people in those communities believe that they have a right to protect the boundaries of their community, and they have a right to decide who gets permission to come and work within their community, then they go at loggerhead. And I must say that it is a very serious matter that the Tushao is reported that there are threats on his life right now. That is nothing for anyone to take lightly at this point in time. That's an indigenous community, and it cannot be left like that.
Very interesting on that front. I know we've been following some of this at our end, what's been happening in the indigenous community. We've showed you this graphic before, places like Little Canubali in Region 1. We've just talked about the Chinese landing issue there. There's the Wapishan community here, Burima, Waini, and we've talked about, you know, the mining lands that are not in dispute. It belongs to the indigenous people, but they've been squatting, the government and others, on the people land. Similar situation occupying at Isanaru. The Akawayos live here predominantly. This is Drita's area, Mazruni, Region 7. Marudi is another community that got some mining, a lot of mining issues here as well in Region 9. We've talked about Region 10, what's happening at Wikikalkuni and Hururu in Region 10, and basically how the assault on the indigenous people of this country at varying levels, whether it's the governance of their villages and community, whether it's their lands in this sense, the mining and so on, the resources, they don't have the full benefit of that. And we saw in both the Chinese landing issue and the Isanru issue that international bodies have had to hand down some very, very definitive decisions concerning the Amerindian and indigenous rights to occupy these lands and to have, I would think what they call formal consent and all of that before government can do anything as regards these lands. But we don't see that occupying, and some of this is what we're covering with this specific Chinese landing issue currently.
All right. Guys, we're just about 5 minutes away from Sue. They have your little patience. I see the comments saying, no, talk about Sue now. But we have to touch on a few things before we get there. So a kanji man gets a second funeral after a corpse mix up. This is the second time or third time.
Wow.
Come on, guys. We need to do better than this. Kanji man, Mahabi, or,
Rangasamy.
Very sad that this individual had to the family of this individual rather had to go through this. Persons are already grieving.
It was real confusion when I saw some of the footage coming out of this.
Confusing as ever.
Confusion powder.
It reminded me of when the family got the casket with the man clothes alone.
This is Guyana.
Come on, we gotta do better than this.
This is Guyana. This is Guyana.
Definitely persons need to be very careful with who is basically handling the corpse of your deceased loved ones and all of that. But we must do better. Moving along quickly as we can, the cabinet approves a $60,000 private sector minimum wage, and the comments that went on to that post says it all for me altogether. And persons, there is absolutely no one that is happy about that. $60,000 minimum wage. This is a
private sector.
Private sector. These are the people that gets the bulk of the concessions and all that. These are the people that you say, oh, they're going to have the benefits trickle down. That is what they say all the time, right? There's absolutely no way. Let me tell you something. I've gone shopping specifically for items like, let me just put it out there, like coconut oil, for example, right? Specifically, and I've said it on this program before, that I try to support local when it comes to whatever product is being manufactured here altogether. There's a specific coconut oil. It's a coconut oil that is being processed right here in Guyana. I went to the store. I can't remember the size of the bottle, but it's not a large one, one of the smaller bottles, and it was being sold for $1,300. It was being sold for $1,300 sometime last month. That's when I purchased this there. I went to the store to get it yesterday, and it was $2,640.
Wow. Mr. Coconut?
No, I'm very serious about
Mr. Coconut.
The price, the inflation in that particular item is unimaginable right
Mr.
now.
Coconut.
I say that to tie it in with this $60,000 minimum wage. Who is going to survive on that? Who can survive on $60,000 minimum wage? Who?
Not Jagdeo, not Sue.
The least I expected was for them to bring it up to scale with the public sector minimum wage. And that is what it should be. You should have one minimum wage, right?
It's a little odd that private sector minimum wage is lower than public sector.
Right?
It's very, very odd.
Because the private sector incentive is to make a profit. The lower their costs, their operational costs and expensive on a monthly basis, the higher their profit margin is. And all the concessions that they've been getting and all of that. When I'm speaking specifically, guys, when I speak about this, I always tell you, don't mix me up. And I always say that small and medium scale businesses and business owners never receive these benefits. Again, those concessions that they're getting, those few at the very top, they say, oh, we're going to have a trickle down and all that. It went to a point that I think it was Ali himself that was begging persons to let the benefits trickle down, because it wasn't, and it can't, because trickle down economics, as you know, every single last one of you, it does not work at all. So this is unacceptable. This needs to be reviewed. But coming from the labor minister, I can say that we all understand why there's no in-depth analysis into that, and it's just something that is just spewed out like that. People need to at least have a salary, a wage that they can survive, that they can eat, that they can feed their children. That's the least that person should be getting at this point in time. So let's move on from that.
How do we solve a problem? Like Sue, how do we solve a problem? Guyana for sale, folks. My. Guyana for sale. It's true. I hear so, but I ain't quite believe it. It's true. Oh boy. Chirita, folks. we be there. Be out here. The big issue this morning is the Showtime special by Vice News, Guyana for sale. That was published yesterday. I didn't know, like, it was available in some places earlier, and then it was available worldwide, perhaps at 8 last evening. But I'm certain a lot of people got a chance to see some of it. And I know that some of it is making its way around social media via, like, let's say, WhatsApp. We dare not show it here because they're blocking it on social media, and we don't want the program to be blocked by any means. So we don't have the rights to it in part or in whole, so we can't show it here. But I'm certain you guys have seen this this video by now, and my oh my, are the contents damning.
So when I saw the video, there are a couple of things, and the things that we've been trying to highlight throughout overarching. There's an overarching issue. There's an overarching fact that if I can put it like that. With all of this, not just this video, but all of the evidence that has been coming out in the media throughout, since the administration took office back in 2020. And the one fact remains that this is a transactional government. This government is transactional. This PPP administration.
What does that mean? What does that mean to the other person?
Right? There's a lot of ways in which I can say it. And one of the terminologies that goes with their operation is quid pro quo, that says something for something. Nothing is ever done on the straight and narrow. And I always say,
just providing a service to people.
Nothing is ever done like that. And I always say that when they're making decisions, we often speak about them not being fond of studies and things like that. And I always say they're not fond of those things because they are not interested in the details that come out there. They're interested in what's the kickback, who gets
the consulting fee, the processing fee.
That is how they make decisions. And we are yet to be proven otherwise. The bit of reporting that came out there through Vice News, and that was aired on Showtime, it showed just that. It's just a confirmation of what we have been saying here all along. And the more independent bodies that come in and do investigations and all, this is just a tip of the iceberg. And I have to say, a lot of times when these international journalists and so go in and they have these reporting and they bring out these pieces, it is left upon the citizens of the countries to follow through, to demand independent, in-depth investigations into these matters.
Correct.
This is not something that you just push aside and say, because I am noting that some comments online are saying that, they didn't see evidence of it. It's not the place of Vice News.
But they could be blind.
To go and
they want to be blind.
Do that. As it is right now, damning allegations are being made against the sitting vice president of a country. And as citizens of this country, we all need to demand independent investigations into this.
It's interesting that we have never seen, for instance, DPI at Jagdio's house when he's meeting investors. We see them in his office.
I never knew
they are courtesy call
at your house.
Right? And so on. So that people are meeting at your house. And the fact that he said initially that Sue was only his tenant, not even that they were friends, right? That they were tenants. No, Sue is my friend, and Sue can get, we will support all of whatever Sue wants, Sue gets. We will support all of it. It seems as though this relationship has evolved within a couple of days. Within a couple of weeks, right? This relationship has evolved. And I saw some reporting out of Demwara Waves, which suggests that the vice president acknowledged that Sue did say that he takes bribes. And we did a piece of earlier reporting about who is Sue. And, this is just a couple of things that we would have uncovered in this whole Sue-gate, Jagdio's Chinese connection. Sue got a lot of things, a lot of holdings, a lot of money, a lot of business interest in this country. And now you have to wonder how we came into all of that. Quite interesting, from whether now it's logging.
To wonder if it's Sue, is it?
Right? Sue has been connected to the partially state-owned Chinese logging company, Bai Shenlin. His company, Rongan, is considered the second largest Chinese logger and log trader in Guyana. There is that. We see that he has interest in energy and gas company, right? China Zhangzhou. There is that. There is also some. He's also involved in fuel export. So Sue has a lot of interest in this country. right? We know that he had a license revoked in 2016. He is also into real estate. All of that is what our research is showing us, right? And then we'll come back to this in just a second. So Sue got a lot of business interest. And here is this tenant who takes people, investors, to see his landlord, right? Sue is my friend, right? And we give Sue all the support that it needs. I'm on the government side.
Yeah. I look after it from the government
right?
side.
I don't talk about the arrangement. Sue takes care of that. But we give him all the support he needs. Oh wow. Interesting.
But it can go as
The PPP corrupt.
I was going to that.
Corrupt.
Not so plain,
Wow.
plain and simple words.
Oh,
But
they
sure,
get catch. He get catch.
busted. I think that's what the overarching the underlying and everything is, that he was caught, and it was done with such finesse. It was done with such finesse. Reporters going in there on the cover and all of that. So now I understand, guys. You would remember that we were saying that none other than the vice president himself was reporting, was saying, complaining rather, that he has I can't remember the direct words that he used, but he was saying that of recent they've been getting several
requested meetings.
Requests from meetings, but he didn't say several. Alarmingly increasing numbers of meetings persons are requesting to have. And all of that. And I think what Sheridan said, that these are things that bothers him, because he wants to meet with everybody.
Yeah. He's a one-man show.
He's the person that is meeting with everybody and all of that. You can't go around this. I've been noting the attempt by PPP-friendly media houses to try to put a slant to this and try to go around it and all of that. You can't do it. It's not possible. When presented to the people, any person that sees that, any right-thinking Guyanese that sees that, will come to the obvious conclusion of what is going on. So, it's a bit insulting to the intelligence of the Guyanese people to believe
very much so
that you can try to cover up and go around and bring a slant to something as plain as that. It's not going to work like that. An investigation has to be done, and that's what we have to continue to press right now. Allegations of that nature, damning allegations of that nature, cannot be put against someone, and the investigation, not just someone. It's not an ordinary person. This is the VP of a country. That needs to be investigated immediately. It cannot be
international investigators.
But in all of that, guys, listen. There is so much going on. Even coming up to yesterday with that. As we approached it, I have been noting Air Finale himself has been saying some things contrary to what the VP has been saying. We can identify, when it comes to the issue of the sugar industry, for example, the VP is out there talking about telling persons when he went over, I think it was at IFLOT, that, they need to look for jobs, different types of jobs and so forth. Then we see Ali coming back and saying that,
do you want to make sugar great again?
They're going to make it great. They're going to deliver on their campaign promises and all of that. We have been seeing several instances. We've seen the VP say, they're not going to be doing any COI
into the election rigging.
When we see Ali come back and say he's going to be naming persons to be a part of an international COI, and that's another discussion. We're not even going to touch that.
Ali behaving as though he's powerful like Sue.
Ali is behaving as though. But does the president have the authority to remove the vice president?
He's a real president. He behaves so.
Does the president have the authority?
Yes, he has all the cabinet ministers serve at the pleasure of the president. Here's what Kaichur News said this morning about this whole thing. Guyana for sale. This is Kaichur News editorial, guys. Quite an interesting take on this. I see Starbucks News hasn't come out fully frontal on this issue. Waiting to see what Starbucks News is going to say. But Kaichur News was livid this morning. Kaichur News says in its editorial, the Vice News production of Guyana for Sale speaks of webs of intrigue, dens of thieves, and interlocking bands of conspirators of both local and foreign origins. The foreigners are extremely skilled at navigating the corrupt waters of Guyana because they have access to the heart of Guyana. Are a handshake away from the most powerful local leaders. And the editorial goes on. The foreigners know how to get things done because they know which buttons to push, which leaders can make good things happen. They know what it takes to move men of influential leadership positions to see their objectives and to respond to their bids. The currency of such conversations is cash, and lots of it. The editorial goes on. Mr. Sue has plenty of it, and he is familiar with Guyana's own vice president, who is his landlord, and more tellingly, his boss. We ponder about the meaning of that, we ponder about the meaning that could be attached to that very useful word, boss. Vice President Jagdeo has not denied knowing Mr. Sue, who is one clever operator, given his large holding his large holding of Guyana's land. Ordinary Guyanese can line up and wait, file many applications, quarrel and object, but they will not move an inch towards getting a small plot of land if the ones in power do not smile upon them, after considering what they, the supplicants, have to barter. Cash. Something for something. Judy just said it. It is just the way the system works, and became clear with the Vice News program. Yep. And finally, the editorial says, this is not news to Guyanese, for they have lived with such a culture under government after government. The problem is that today, there is nothing equivalent to the corruption that now rage in every aspect of the government-people partnership. Right? There is nothing equivalent, Kaiser News editorial reads, to the corruptions that now rage in every aspect of the government-people partnership. Kaiser News today.
Kaiser News said exactly what I said, that this is confirmation of what we've been saying all the time. This is what has been going on in our country for quite some time. And no one could approach me at any point in time to bring any logical debate to try to defend the administration and to say that they're not corrupt. All evidence points to corruption, every single thing. And I've been saying it for quite some time. I've said it over and over prior to 2015, and I could continue to give so many examples. Prior to 2015, the country itself, even on the ranking, the corruption index of the country, we were in shambles altogether. We had, and I've been saying it for so many times, people, I've been saying this, we have had babies born in this country and grow up thinking that this is the way of things. That in order to get something done, you got to pass something under the table. You got to reach somebody at the house. You got to knock some glass. That is how things are done in this country. And persons grew up believing that that is okay. That's why we have some people that defends this because they believe this is the normal business and action of the day. It is not so. Vice News has tipped the iceberg, and I believe that they are not yet done with this as yet, because the amount of hits that it already had from last night to now in this particular matter. As a country, we must demand better. It's not okay that in order for you to get something in this country, you have to go and do shady business. That is not okay. The systems need to work. The system cannot be that in order for somebody to get a piece of land, they got to know somebody uncle got to live in some way, and somebody got to rapping on somebody, no one picking up the phone and call just somebody to get a piece of land. That is not okay. When persons know, as has been reported in that piece of video, that, oh, deals are being made, you know, you can get prime real estate to do hotel, international hotels and so forth, you know. Let's go down that line. This whole aspects of persons being tenant in their own land, it is before our very eyes in every single aspect of our living on a daily basis in Guyana. We see this happening to us. We see a system in which that if you don't have friends and families, you are not a part of that friends, family, and favorite circle, then you are left to suffer out in the cold. And the majority of Guyanese, and this is the fact, the majority of Guyanese are amongst that group. The majority of Guyanese do not have the friends, family, and they're not a part of the favorites. So the majority of Guyanese are left to suffer. The majority of Guyanese, when persons are cutting deals and talking about who is going to get prime real estate land and all of that for building hotel. The majority of Guyanese now have to deal with the 60,000 minimum wage that they're given to the private sector. That is the fact that we're dealing with right now. Every single thing that was said through that little piece of reporting, we have been saying it time and time again. We have been presenting the facts. The news, every single news outlet at some point in time had to bring the facts that if you do not transact business on the table in this country, you're not going to get anywhere at all.
Mr. Jagdio feels differently in some comments attributed to him in a publication out of Demerara Waves. Jagdio says that he noted, according to this reporting here, that Mr. Su, whom he had previously acknowledged is his friend and tenant, had lied about using his name. He did not categorically state whether he would take private legal action or file a police complaint against the businessman. This is Jagdio says now that Su seems to have said to him that he will collect the money, and so this is precisely what I was saying all along, that I don't know what Su and the others have been telling the reporters or investors who come to this country. He goes on to say that they do not have to pay a single cent to any government official to facilitate investment. That is a big lie. Our job is to do that. Our job is to do that on our own. And so if they are ripping off these investors and collecting their monies as a service fee or whatever else, they are keeping all to themselves. Oh, Father. This tenant seems to have evolved.
This thing has been
this tenant. Wow. Right? We give Su all the support he needs. Su is just a tenant. Right? But whoever Su brings to us, we give Su all the support he needs. Right? He's just a tenant. Oh, Su? Who's Su? Right? So Su has moved now from tenant status, right, to some businessman of magnitude, because Jagdio said in this video recording from Vice News, we give Su all of the support he needs. All, not some. Now on a case-by-case basis, we give Su all the support he needs.
But what, an interesting part, and I have to say this, an interesting part is that I'm reading in some of the local news that the vice president is saying that he intends to sue.
Correct.
Sue.
Sabbath News
right?
Has that this morning.
Right, that he intends to sue this individual by his tenant and friend, that individual that refers to him as boss. He intends to sue him for whatever.
So it's the tenant, but the tenant refers to him as my boss.
That's not my thing, right? My thing is, and please bear with me with this, is that if anybody is to be sued, if any suing is to be done, it should be Vice News. That is the aim. That is where the aim should be. That should be the target. If you want to say that these claims
and so
are exactly. This is a documentary that went through Showtime. This is a documentary that was aired internationally.
Correct.
If you want to clear any air, that is where you have to aim. You have to aim. But guess why he's not going to aim there? He's not going to aim there because he knows that 50 minutes is not all that they have. Right? He's not taking aim. Then I say, and I put it out like that. If he wants to clear anything up, take an aim at Vice News.
Yeah.
Take that aim. Take Vice News to court.
You know what I wanted to? There's an allied story that Sabbath News was inquiring into some of the business dealings of Minister Deodat Indar, and some police turned up at Sabbath News quite recently at the premises. I would wonder, now that these damning allegations are public and internationally so, if they got police who will turn up by Su establishment, if Su will be investigated, his business premises and so on. If they'll be investigative, if the police will swoop down on Su, and Juita was right. Sabbath News is reporting this morning. Jagdio says to sue Mr. Su over vice bribe taking claims. Jagdio has been sued.
Yes.
Right? Jagdio has been sued. Jagdio is now going to sue Mr. Su. You see how bizarre this whole thing is now? And in addition to that, our shadow attorney, Mr. Roysdale Force, put out a very strong statement yesterday calling for the resignation of Mr. Jagnew and an international probe, I think it was, of the allegations. Damning allegations. You know, you guys know, right, that these folks are corrupt. The PPP are corrupt to their core, and now it's plain to see. Right? How come these Chinese investors weren't meeting before the DPI cameras? Right? These guys who were posing as investors weren't in DPI, you know? You love to see photo ops and so on. How come they were ushered very privately and very quietly? How many more persons? You know, is there a logbook at Pradoville 2 or 3, you know, that shows who visits and what they visit for? How many people traverse that property? Very interesting. Very interesting.
But what is ease in which that video showed it? It's the ease, the comfort level of the individuals that were in the video there. We have been looking. I know specific reference was made in the video when it comes to the Amila Falls, that particular project there. And you would remember, guys.
Sue seemed to have gotten a lot out of this administration.
But you would remember that after February, with all that came out there, that piece of it was not even mentioned in the little release that was made by the VP, that little video release. But thereafter, we learned that contract was not going forward anymore. All right. So now you know why. Now you know why it is not going forward anymore, because that was part of the the undercover investigation that was done there.
Excuse me.
Yes. But guys, so much. I've been trying to read the comment section as we are going through this. I've been trying to go through the comments to follow through, and I see all the comments coming in about every one of your feelings towards this matter altogether. Very, very strongly, rightly so. And I'm seeing a lot of persons are in the comment section. They said that they needed an investigation to be had into this matter. So we definitely cannot leave that as it is. But as Sherrod is speaking about, and I want to weigh in a little bit on what Sherrod is saying about the matter between Deodat Indar and what is going on there. The allegations being, well, not allegations. Kaitor News is claiming, as is right now, Kaitor News is Kaitor, not Kaitor, Starbrook News. Starbrook News is claiming that police actually visit them because of some reporting that they were doing into what is going on. I'm on set alone for quite a bit. Guys, Starbrook News has been claiming that they are investigating a little as to Deodat Indar and his involvement in a company, and because of that, police officers showed up at their premises, and that is something that I find completely out and strange. I think that is something that we need to look at very seriously. We cannot just accept that Guyana is going into what appears to be a police state. And I don't know how else to put that over. We cannot accept at any point in time, these little things creep up, and we cannot accept at any point in time Guyana goes into a police state method. We can't do that.
Yep. Perfectly in order. Perfectly in order. And we're seeing this more and more because yesterday, interestingly, as you're talking about police state, there seemed to have been a blackout or an attempted blackout of this whole issue on social media.
Yes.
The videos weren't posting. And when you try to post a video, they were being blocked. So it seems as though we're heading very slowly to a police state. You know, Starbrook News calls the minister to get some information. They publish a story. Police turn up at Starbrook News. But quite interesting.
We've had a history of not so good happenings when it comes to media altogether and intimidation of media prior to 2015. Guys, we have had some issues in which we've had reporters that died, you know, in very, very questionable, under very, very questionable circumstances and all of that. So it makes you get goosebumps by just the memory of those things, and to hear again that police are showing up at Starbucks News because of some questioning that they're asking, and rightly so. We always say when persons are in public office, you are open for persons to question you, and the simple thing to do is to just provide the evidence that it is not so. You do not try to utilize the police and to scare anyone, to intimidate anyone, or anything like that. That should not be. But more and more, we're seeing that the police is having an active role like that. And I think that one of the things that is being said right now, I know Mr. Indar, and I have to say this, he has said that he had no part in the police going there. That is not that was
Very
not
interesting.
initiated by
Very
him.
interesting.
But then it begs the question. It begs the question as to who sent the police over to Starbucks News there. And then it goes back to the matter that we were discussing only last week, with the police that followed Mr. Norton, the opposition leader, about, and then no one seemed to knew the Mr. Ben. He did not know who sent them there.
Higgins didn't know.
Exactly, the top cop did not know who sent the police there. And to date, there has never been any answer. I've been calling for an answer as to on whose instructions those officers were moving when they went to follow Miss Norton around. And now again, I'm going to add another question to that list. Is under whose instruction did those police go over to Starbucks News?
Quite in order.
Because if Mr. Indar did not send them over there, then who sent them over there? They just didn't wake up out of nowhere and just automatically like a robot.
Here we come.
A robot just went over to Starbucks.
It's interesting, right? Who follows around Mrs. Sue? Who's following around Mrs. Sue?
He's probably coming through with outriders. He's probably coming through with outriders, being fully protected and all of that.
Here we are, folks, and this is what is before us.
It is what it is.
Damning.
As we're saying,
quite interesting.
It is what it is, as we're saying, but not because this is the fact before us means that this should be accepted.
Quite interesting.
By us, as a people, as Guyanese, we cannot just accept it. We cannot just be okay with our country going to that level. We cannot be okay with it. We have to fight it at every level. We have to demand that it is not done within that
demand more.
Exactly.
That's what we have to do. Demand more. We got to demand more. You and I, all of us, Patricia and Edward, Jacobs, Paul Passant, Gully, Garden, Roxanne, Garden, Brooks, all of us, we have to demand more of this administration. For too long, we've put the bar too low for the people. The people AFC, oh Lord.
Yes.
It's sky high.
It's as though persons have come to a level to accept that this is the way in which these people operate.
They're corrupt. We know they're corrupt.
Like, so what are you questioning? Like, what are you questioning? I see Paul Passant, they're asking the same question. Why am I asking this question here? Why you don't call them a fight? No, that is not the way. The very fact that you could even ask that in the comment section shows your level of training, your psyche as to this matter. You believe that is not something that the public should know and the public should get answers to. And we're not like that when it comes to democracy and good governance, the way in which it is done. And I think people need to have an entire overhaul of their mentality and their psyche when it comes to good governance. When it comes to information sharing, transparency, and those aspects of good governance, it simply means that the people should know, and questions asked by the people needs to be answered.
I want to know, for
You
instance, how many business people have gone to Prattville to see Mr. Jagrio? How many persons did Mr. Sue take in the last 2 years, for instance, to see Jagrio?
Well, I think when it comes
to... Because we heard China Railway, Mr. Sue himself said, that was one of his projects. He brought those investors, right? And subsequent to that first Vice News interview that was published, we saw that that Chinese firm pulling back. Oh, because suddenly the arrangement, they like the model that is being used. Suddenly,
I would not like the model too if I was there.
So when you pull back,
questions were asked.
Do you take back your consulting fee? You take back the processing fee and so on?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Interesting.
Never been in that system.
Interesting.
I've never been in that system.
But the world has a chance to see now what we've always known. And, it'll be interesting to see the posturings of some folks like Vindhya Prasad and Unij Waldron,
Oh goodness.
right? But you
I've
know, you
been
got some of
seeing
them
some of
corrupt
them.
anyhow, so they won't
I've
even
seen
bother.
some of them snatching at straws for some survival with this particular matter.
Saying what?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, what
they're
can be
basically
said?
saying
What can be
absolutely
said?
nothing. Oh, they're
What can be
saying
parsed?
that there's no linkage. I don't
There was no
understand
linkage to what?
all the linkage that you want. People are sitting together in an individual's home. What more linkage are you looking for?
Discussing things about public the Guyanese patrimony, right?
The question should be asked, because we're talking about the public sector, a public office, a public office altogether, and the question should be asked at which part of it, which section, as being documented, is the VP in charge of those discussions.
Yeah.
At what level is that done? Right?
Yeah.
What part of the VP? And I'm not even looking
and
at.
where is it
I'm not
recorded
even
for
looking,
public consumption that these meetings are happening?
I'm not even looking at the individual, and I am gifted at separating individual from office now, because when you're looking at the office and the functions and responsibilities of the office of the VP, at which point in time are those things the responsibility of that office holder, right? And that should be the overarching question of what persons are asking, because it's not there. We have listened to, and I want to tie it in back to something that was said even at our international energy expo. At the international NGX, when I spoke about it here, and I'm going to bring it up back again, at the international NG expo, they were talking about the what was it? What platform? There was a booth for one of the government agencies. I think it was business. I think it was business. Nevertheless, as it was spelled out there by the VP, even then at that level, is that persons need to go to that booth, and they will basically link those business people and arrange meetings for them to have.
You got go invest. The whole go invest.
Yes, I believe that's what
the whole go invest is geared towards that.
And the only function that they highlighted there was for them to go and be used as basically the booking agent. Oh, you're interested in doing business? Oh, well, let's go. We'll link you to the people that you got to talk to do the business and all of that. Guys, the system as set up right now is set up as a corrupt system. Let us just
agree on that.
It is.
Yeah.
It's set up as a corrupt system. In order for you to get anything, you have to give. And everything that is given, you don't have to give in any straightforward, transparent way. You have to give something under the table. People are winning bids and contracts and all of those things because they're going through a system in which they are, who is given the biggest kickbacks. Those are the persons that are being elevated to the very top. This is a system, and I cannot wait until we are investigating those years at the level of the Public Accounts Committee. And I want to mention at this point in time also that the Public Procurement Commission, those persons at the PPC, those commissioners have not yet been sworn in by Air Finale.
Wonder why.
I'm going to call right now on those persons to be sworn in immediately.
Wonder why.
All of what is being reported right now, all of that, those are things that the Public Procurement Commission, when it comes to any dealings with contracts and all of that, the Public Procurement Commission have a responsibility over that. So when you see them dragging their foot on actually having those office holders occupying their seats and actually doing the work, now you understand why that has been for so long, guys. Absolutely unacceptable.
We got to look and see now, for instance, you're going to see a letter come from the Private Sector Commission vouching for the character of Mr. Jack. Watch and see. It's coming.
Hold on.
Watch and see. You're going to see the Guyana Manufacturing Association vouching for the credibility, and they're going to cuss out Vice News from now till the end of the year because local government election coming up. And this is not good for them at all. You can see GSMA, the Guyana Manufacturing Association, they come out with one too. All the usual suspects. You can see some of those like the Burbage Chambers of Commerce and so on. Talking about what a good man Mr. Jaglu is. His hands are clean. You understand me? Sue got all our support, the whole government, supporting one businessman.
Sue's still in the country.
Right? Sue has all our support. Sue is my friend. He has all. Right? He on the private sector end, I on the government side. That's how we do the thing. right? He has all my support, all our support, all. Anything you want done, he has all of it. Not some, not a case by case basis, not to the extent that we can facilitate based on the criteria having been met and all that. No. He has all our support, right? So it's going to be interesting. Watch and see. They're coming. They're coming.
Soon.
Right?
I think everybody, I think all of those agencies, those organizations, whatever, they are going to be lined up to try to hit one at a time so that they can basically overshadow what's going. But no attempt will actually get the results that they're looking for, because there's a thing when you're combating facts. It is almost impossible for you to bring nonsense to combat facts, right?
No.
And the fact is,
I saw somebody say there,
it's transactional.
and they said it well. They said Sue has his SOP.
Oh wow.
Right? Sue has his standard operating procedure. Sue handles all. He has all of our support. Sue handles the private sector end. I handle the government side. We meet in the middle. Sue handle all the arrangements, you know.
And I think to even go forward, I believe that with this bit of reporting that came out of Vice News, I believe other international media houses will be prompted to come undercover and do some of their own investigating.
Yeah, and
right
watch
now.
Also, Ali gonna come to vouching for the vice president and cussing down.
You see that coming?
Right?
I see.
Watch it too.
I'm a little different on this. I think Ali has seen this as an opportunity for him to flex his muscles a little bit. I've seen it, and I've been wondering, who's advising this? Who's advising him?
Let's see.
Somebody didn't tell him how he got into office.
Let's see. Oh, he thinks he's a credible president.
he
thinks he's there by ballot votes.
On ballot votes.
Oh.
He thinks he's in there on ballot votes. So
he remember he was
so
installed.
BJ did not tell him how he got there. He probably will remind him. It is not such a nice way of that.
Well,
but I see him.
BJ can remind me how he get that huge piece of Gaisuko land that he built a mansion on with swimming pool, because he saved, right? Remember, he was what, 30, 32?
I can't
had
remember.
a sprawling estate, but he saving money, he saving money.
From work,
Right? Phone card business and so. Let's save money and so. Right? But it's interesting to see now the interplay of the Caribbean leaders and them.
Yes.
Because Mia watching this, you think Mia go from one of time's most 100 most influential people
to Vice News.
To Vice News. Watch and see how Caribbean
but
leaders.
There is nothing, and that's why I said
fully from them.
I don't believe Vice News is stopping what they're in, because every single and fact is at play right now that every single leader, even head of states that have been doing business in Guyana, they are fully open right now for persons to go doing private investigations on their dealings at the level of what's happening in Guyana.
Is it me, Jarita, or did Isabel Young said that they were here for months?
Yes, she was here for a while.
They were here for months.
And that's what I'm saying, and I'm going to end.
You think that they only got 50 minutes? They only take 50 minutes of footage for spending months here?
But that's why I'm saying that any talk of being of the vice president suing persons for slander and libel and all of that, any talk of that has to be directed at Vice News. Because they're the ones that came and did the investigation. They're the one that did that piece of documentary that is out there circulating. But I am saying also that I don't expect them to ever be a target, because the depth of the investigation is something that we are yet to find out.
Yeah.
Because persons were on the cover, and those little snippets are definitely not the fullness of what they uncovered.
It's amazing how the vice president's whole story has changed when he's on camera, when he's on hidden camera. Right? Because he didn't tell us he had meetings by his house with Sue and all that, Sue was just the tenant.
Yes.
Right? Sue was just the tenant until he's in his own living room with Sue and a Chinese gentleman posing as an investor.
Yes. And I see
right? Then the story suddenly changed.
Posing as a secretary.
Yeah. Then the story suddenly changed.
But I want to say also that Vice News did not come here by accident. Vice News was sent here through some mechanism. They were reporting. There are a reason. There's always reasons for these persons to get here. And there is so much going on, even locally right now, as it comes to the power struggle within the PPP, right? And there is never a time, and guys, listen to me, and we can go way back on this. But a lot of what comes out when it comes to the underhand shadiness of the operations of the PPP comes out when they have power struggle with it, because they know what each other is doing. You know that song, only your friend know your secret, and only they could reveal it. That has happened so many times with their internal power struggle that I see right now. That's why I noticed Ali flexing his muscles when it comes to dealings and pronouncements made by Jagdio at this point in time. And I see the power struggle. If you're not seeing it, you're not looking. And I see that power struggle. And there is nobody that knows more about what goes on internally there than they themselves know it. So don't put it off that even in their attempt to pull the strength down from their VP, that them themselves would actually initiate such investigations.
Well, let's see if Jagger is going to go and gaff with critics.
Well, let's see.
You know, let's see.
Well, Jesus,
we
missed that.
If he's going to go and gaff with critics on this, on Sue. You know, let's see, folks. We're in for a bumpy week. Let's see what comes out of it.
There's a lot that we still need to touch on as we move forward in the week that we could not touch on today because listen, I've learned one thing, that we cannot be off here for one day because everything this backs up so much. But thank you so much, all of you, for joining us.
And we're picking up on this discussion back on our podcast today as we deal with dollars and cents. Money got for Mac. So our discussion continues on the podcast, and we're going to have a few guests on the podcast today. You're going to want to tune in.
And you do not want to miss tonight at 8 p.m. in the ring. Trust me, you do not want to miss that. That is going to be epic.
So if you want rock and come in. Jack, if you want rock and come in.
All doors are open.
All doors are open. Let's fight.
Yes.
Let's fight, guys. Let's fight.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We know that we can have this discussion for hours, but we have to call it a day for this morning.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we'll see you back at 8 a.m. for more of FYI. But you know that you'll be joining at 12 for Below the Belt and also at 8 p.m. for In the Ring. Continue to what you have to do. Make sure that we are online, giving you credible information. If you see us a few days, it's because you haven't been doing your job. So guys, continue to partner with us to make sure that we can be on.
We can stay on air.
Credible information. You know the platforms as it is. It's we have Western Union, we have MoneyGram, we have Zelle, we have PayPal, we have MMG, we have Cash.
We don't have Sue, regretfully.
We have Cash App.
We don't have Sue.
We're not running on Sue's type of money.
We don't. We're not powered by Sue.
We're not doing that.
No. Totally by you, the people.
Correct. And if you want any other information, you know that the number is 627-6963. Make sure that you do your part to partner with us so that we can bring you credible information every single day. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to see you as the day progresses.
Stay safe, guys.